Hello again, this is Eric with Auburn AV, and you can check us out at auburnav.com, learn more about us. We're moving along here on our Clarity training series. We've talked about the patch, how to patch in fixtures. We've talked about our rig view, how to create that. Talked about our programmer section and how to create looks. Next part we're going to do is our palettes section. And palettes are important because if you're doing a lot of programming and you don't want to have to keep going back to, selecting the fixture and selecting the color that you want and getting them all to match, you can create a palette that has that so you can quickly get to it each time. So a good example is for movers. Say, for example, we want to have all of our movers set positions that I get to quickly. Here's something that I haven't shown you yet that I can show you real fast. Is see this section here had a little information in it, and I don't want to have that, so I can clear that, and now it's emptied out, and it's not going to write any information into your DMX. So that's how you can clear these. So if I want to clear this, clear dimmer curve, this little trick, if you right click and then select the one you want. So for this, we're going to do intensities of all of our platinums, and they're all up in the back there, and they're pointing, right now they're just pointing straight down at the ground on the truss. What we can do is we can tilt them up some, even with each other, and then what we're going to do is you can fan these, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control, and this little pops up on here. So if you hold down Control on your laptop, this is a little shortcut thing. I'm going to fan all of the fixtures. And what that's doing is that instead of having them just point straight out, it's fanning them all relative to each other, kind of like a fan. You can use that on all of these channel settings if you found a need for that. We'll get more. Fanning comes in real handy later when we talk about the dynamics section when we're creating our own effects. But for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just trying to create a few palettes here. So what you have is I have this set. I like this position. I'm going to hit 2 preset. Now, 2 preset, I just want to record the position. I don't want to record the intensity on that preset. I'm just recording the position. You can also record beam with it sometimes also. So let's say, for instance, we did that and we're going to focus all these. Let's say we set each one individually and they have the focus that we want, and Gobo's open, and we hit the preset. So now the beam's there. So what that's going to do is it's going to make a preset or a free set that has the position set and the focus for that position written into that palette. So you don't have to sit there and focus it every time you want to use that position and throw a new Gobo up or anything like that. So we'll hit record. And now, if you go over here to the palettes, you'll notice that we have in the positions section a preset. I forgot to name it. If you ever do that, you can right click on it and hit rename, and we'll do floor fan. Click OK, and now it's called floor fan. It's a free set, so if we do that, it doesn't work as good with positions, but if you had all that and the max, and it would do kind of the same thing to the max if you select that. So right now that's turned on. If you ever to programmer or to rig view, you'll see that they're all fanned out. See, it didn't do a good job of that on those, but it was just kind of give you an idea. We hit clear all, clear, clear. So we create palettes for each position that you want. So if you have a specials and a theatrical where they have set spots where, marked on the floor, you can aim the fixtures at those marks and have them set here for a position. So also for, if you're doing a band, then you'd have some cool looks, floor fans up at the ceiling, highlighting the musicians based on where their spots are, crisscrosses and those kind of things for that type of, because it's really several different ways to light things, and for bands you do or kind of a whole different animal from theatrical. So you just really think about what you're using for what you're trying to program and what you're using a lot, and that's what you would create these palettes for. So we have palettes for groups, palettes for positions, palettes for beams, which would be anything that affects how your beam looks. So it would be gobos, iris. Let's see, we'll go back here to programmer. So it would be the beam effects won't affect much for going on for 6 bars. Let's see if we select all those, and then a beam effect would be, maybe your shutter strobe. That would be the only option really in there for that, because there's not a frost or an iris or focus. Your effect wheel and your gobo wheels and your gobo rotates and things like that would automatically, they would populate in the beam effect here. One thing to note here, so you notice that it made a palette for my floor fan and also made a palette and beam for the floor fan. So if you select this and you select this, and then you have to also select this to get the focus right, and then you could save that to a queue and have that be a position queue if you were doing like a band, or you wanted to have that position cue set where you could hit it on the controller and automatically go to that position with the right focus and everything set to that. Also note that if you have all your show programmed out and you're going from venue to venue, then you could change this position preset. You could update it. So you make a new free set with the right position that you want and hit replace item, and that'll lock that position in that free set to any of the positions in that you use that preset for that palette for in your already made cues. So that's a really fast way if, for instance, like your movers are slightly off from the place they were in the last venue because the stage size is different or something like that, then you can pull up that palette and then adjust those fixtures to so you'd say click on the palette, and then you could adjust the fixtures in programmer to your new sets where they need to be, and then say that they need to be tilted out a little further because they're lower to the ground or something like that. Then you can go back here to the palette section and right click and hit replace item, and what that does is that replaces your floor fan with the correct set. Just make sure you do the floor fan and the floor fan beam, any of the presets that go with that same look, because you want them to rewrite. Or you could do it the way I just did, where you hit replace item and then just don't select beam. You only want to fix the position. But usually if you're moving the position, then you have to fix the focus also. Up here also has some color kind of like gels. So these are in the Lee version of color sets. So if you're doing something where someone called out a Lee or Roscoe color gel, they have these set in here where it's meant to match those color numbers that you can purchase them on. So say someone really wants this fuchsia pink 345 on the Lee, then you click that and that'll change it to that, and you can set a palette for that also. If you switch them around, you can do Roscoe super gels and it changes your palette picker. It also comes with some, I can show you this part. If you do all of your upstage wash, and you can click red to blue, and it's an auto built thing. Oh, hold on, we got to do intensity on this so you can see it. So see here, it's an auto color fade from red to blue. So it's a pretty neat little thing that they do. You can go green to blue, red to blue across your whole rig. That's pretty neat. So we did the colors, the beam, the positions, the groups. Over here are our dynamics. These are pre-created dynamics. They always come on Clarity when you open it up. And if you have a fixture selected, then only the green ones, only the ones will highlight that can be affected. So for example, if I'm picking the 6 pars, then these moving ones don't apply to the 6 pars because they're not they don't move. They're static fixtures, so there's no need to have that. Now the reason that you have some of these here is, for example, this long wave. It does have a position move on it, but it also has an intensity wave. So that intensity wave will still affect the washes, but the position part won't do anything because the fixture doesn't move. If you pick a mover, then of course everything that can be applied does apply. So if you click on that, it's a built-in ballyhoo. You'll look on here in the rig view, you'll see that they're just moving around all over the place, kind of in a random order. If you go over here and you right-click or left-click on this right here, you can change. You can use that as a rolling wheel to change how fast they're moving. So I can make them move really fast. If you go back over here to rig view, see they're moving faster now. I can slow them down and make them move slower. Now they're moving slower. You also can have it where only you can scroll through here. So if I only use position ones, then that's just the position ones. That's just intensity, you know. Hit reset and that reselects them all. The amplitude, you can click up and down there too also. And you can also, if you want it to be 50%, you can highlight it, type in 50%. Amplitude will increase or decrease how much it moves. A good example would be if I hit clear, and we've got these here. See on our rig view, we're gonna do some. Let's see, what's a good example? The palettes, we're gonna hit clear all. Well, okay, and then we're gonna hit the. It's good to see this on like a color change or chase. We're gonna do a single chase on all of our 6-par and set that. So that's going to 120 beats per minute, and the amplitude set at 0. So that's the default setting that it comes as. If you look at rig view, you see them, they're blinking through in the order that they're selected. So amplitude, what you can do is you can slow down the speed to a better speed. Hit rig view. It's a little slower. We'll try it again. Go down some more. We'll go down to like 50%, or you know, we can type it in, I guess. It's a little faster, 50%. And go to rig view, and now that's moving much slower. Now you'll see here that the light all the way on, all the way off. Correct? Amplitude, if I turn up or turn down the amplitude, then you'll see on here, the light is kind of on a little bit. And it just makes it brighter when the chase comes through. So that's a neat way you can change things. So we'll have the light at 60% when it's not being hit by the chase, and now the lights are up, but when the chase comes through, it turns all the way up. That's what amplitude does. It can change how harsh, for lack of a better word, harsh the effect is. So that's more of a subtle chase, where it's not just everything's black except for that one light. So you still have some light on the stage. Yeah, you see it a little bit better there, how it's rolling through selected 1 through 16. But essentially that's how palettes work. You can, these tabs here, you can do this right here is all of them together, and you can, if you want to look just at your groups or just at your positions, you can also set them as favorites. You can also page bookmarks. This shows you just your dynamics, and it breaks it down into colors, intensities, positions, and beams. If you're using a touch screen, also palettes can come in handy because you can just touch all these buttons here. So that's it for palettes. The next section is going to be on our control booth, which is where you run your shows from. You have created your palettes, you've turned your palettes into cues, and you're going to run your cues here in this section. So while we're going on, make a few scenes so that we have some stuff to work with here. And we'll set up some cues, and I'll show you how cue stacks and all that work, and we can move on from there. All right. Thank you again for watching. This is Eric with Auburn AV, and we'll see you on the next video.